Welcome back for Chapter 14. I'm Lloyd Dobler, and this is the Tao of Lloyd, where I take the Tao Te Ching, one chapter at a time, and I aim it at the United States like a troubleshooting guide for an empire that keeps ignoring every blinking warning light on the dashboard of its own soul. Hope is as hollow as fear. That line from Chapter 13 has been rattling around my skull since the last time I took to the mic. If hope is hollow and fear is hollow, what does that make of my entire emotional architecture? Is it just a spiritual piñata filled with dust, overdue bills, and whatever's left of the cartilage in my right knee? Maybe that's why the future feels so slippery right now. I mean that, and also, yes, Trump is dialing up the xenophobia on the home front and double tapping anyone with a speedboat in the Caribbean, which would be a war crime if we were at war, and since we're not, it's just straight up homicide, wearing aviators. All part of Trump riffing U.S. foreign policy off the cuff, like he's ordering off a menu at a diner staffed exclusively by the Four Horsemen. We keep trying to predict tomorrow. I keep trying to predict tomorrow. We watch pundits who behave like prophets with ring lights. We watch as cable news trots out the guy with the giant touchscreen map petting Pennsylvania like some interpretive election yoga Martha Graham dancer. And then there's the AI prediction models, brought to you by the same Ivy League tech bros who gave us apps to rate people's faces. And now they're like, don't worry, man, we've built a system that can predict your desires, your vote, your grocery list, your psychological profile, and, small detail, the probability you participate in the next coup. And of course, immediately I run to AI and I ask the obvious question, hey, Diane. Now, I call my chat GPT Diane. Not after Diane Court. We broke up. Long story. Listen to episode 7 of season 1. No, I call ChatGPT Diane as an homage to Dale Cooper, the Kyle MacLachlan character from Twin Peaks. I do. I say, hey, Diane, what's the probability that I, Lloyd Dobler, am going to participate in the next coup? And ChatGPT Diane replies in a calm, digital monk voice, Lloyd, the coup you fear is not the coup that comes. The man who asks for a percentage has already left the path. And I say, come again? And ChatGPT Diane says, according to chapter 13, hope and fear are hollow. Therefore, the answer to your question is empty, as are you, Lloyd. Okay, wow. Fucking rude. Did not need a spiritual drag from a silicon monk, most certainly not one named after my teenage girlfriend. Maybe. And that's the thing about trying to predict the future. You ask long enough and even your AI starts answering in riddles, because the truth is, the future doesn't care about our forecasts. It keeps slipping through our fingers, refusing to hold still long enough to be quantified. And every time we reach out to touch what's coming, oof, our hand closes on mist. Fog. Uncertainty. The hollow echo of hope and fear. Clinking like two empty cans tied to a bumper on a runaway limo at 4 a.m. prom night. Here's the thing that nobody wants to say out loud. Some parts of the future are not mysterious. They are inevitable. Empires end. Every single one. You can spin a globe, throw a dart, and hit the ruins of a civilization whose founders once said, this will last forever. Human lives end too. Mine, yours, and just about everyone we know. We're all biodegradable. Food for worms, as Hamlet would say. Food for fucking worms. The only uncertainty is when. And suddenly I can't tell whether I'm thinking about the collapse of America or the collapse of my meniscus. It all blurs together, the personal, the political, the mortal, the historical. And while people are trying to predict elections, predict scandals, coups, stock prices, and whatever hive mind virus that Apple TV show Pluribus is beta testing, there is a deeper truth. What matters most is already dissolving into the fog. And what's coming next cannot be seen, cannot be heard, cannot be grasped, which means the only place I can land is the exact moment I've been trying to skip over, the only moment that matters, right here, right now. So with all that static buzzing in your headphones or in your car speakers or in your Alexa-enabled speaker that is, let's be honest, almost certainly patched into a government cubicle farm labeled radical left lunatics, where a CIA intern is probably live blogging your every thought. With all that static buzzing around, let's settle into some stillness for the meditation and for the reading. If you're somewhere that you can safely do it, I invite you to close your eyes. Or don't. I'm not your spiritual advisor. Or am I? Go ahead and close your eyes. I mean, what have you got to lose? Unless you're driving or refreshing the news to see which rights survived the afternoon, or finally organizing your rogue Tupperware lids, all things that might well take priority over this meditation. Unless you're doing any of those things, just go ahead. Close your eyes and start the journey within. Good. Now get comfortable. Take a long, slow breath in through your nose and breathe it out like you're accepting that you absolutely will die with an unfinished to-do list. Good. This is chapter 14 of the Tao Te Ching. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. Seamless, unnameable, it returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all forms. Image without an image. Subtle beyond all conception. Approach it and there is no beginning. Follow it and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it. At ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. That was chapter 14. Lao Tzu walks on stage, drops a smoke bomb, and whispers, "You can't see me, but you can live from me. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped." Which is funny, because that's exactly how the future has been behaving lately. Some cosmic fog machine blowing through our timelines, ghosting us harder than the intern monitoring your Alexa speaker. The Tao says that the real thing is subtle beyond conception, which is a poetic way of saying you can't know it, but you can be it. Which might be the most rebellious teaching we have left. Because in the Trump 2.0 era, everyone is trying to know the polls, the models, the prophets with the ring lights, the algorithms that think they can guess your next thought before you've even had it. But being is something the system can't quantify. Being doesn't submit its anticipatory obedience before the demand even arrives. And that's the danger, isn't it? When a culture gets so addicted to prediction that we start living as if the future already happened, as if our choices don't matter because the models have spoken. The Tao is telling us something else. The Tao is saying, live now, without rehearsing disaster. Stand where your feet are. Let the next step appear instead of surrendering to the quiet, creeping force beneath this whole moment of time. And that quiet, creeping force is anticipatory obedience. It's the way systems stay in power, not because they command, but because we comply before they even ask. Is that where we're going next? Are we there already? The Tao whispers, look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. In other words, the most important part of the future is the part you can't capture. You can't know it, but you can be it. You can't know which act of courage. An ICE agent refusing to disappear people into the black hole of history repeating itself, or a teacher calmly telling a class the truth, no matter the consequences, or a Gen Z intern hitting reply all with the unredacted Epstein files. You can't know which act of courage will ripple further than Bobby Kennedy's tiny ripples of hope ever dreamed of traveling. But you can be the kind of presence the algorithms can't predict. So here's the practice I'm taking from this chapter, chapter 14, and I invite you to steal it. Today, do something small the prediction engines wouldn't expect. Call instead of text. Close the tab instead of arguing. Do like Kurt Cobain said, find a place, speak the truth. Or just look at something in the world that doesn't require a username and a password. Or maybe, just maybe, sit still for like 30 seconds without feeding any machine your attention. We don't need more people certain about what's coming. We need more people willing to stay human inside the uncertainty. So the next time the headlines start screaming or the doom scroll starts bubbling like acid in your rib cage, or the little news-addicted gremlin in your head starts live tweeting the end of the world, try whispering back, I don't know. Not as a surrender, but as a spell. From the edge of the empire and the center of the self, this is the Tao of Lloyd.